Let's go. How's it going, guys? Welcome. Thank you for joining. So sorry for the late entrance in here. I just need to finish some work that had to finish right before I get the show going. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining. Weeks 1 to Dub. How is it going? Great to have you. So today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of other icons. Let's also take a look at how we're doing on the trades that we have taken. And we're going to be investigating on what else we could be investing in the short term because things look a little poppy, but also in some other cases a little toppy. So let's take a look at the charts. Let's get it. Hey, how is it going, my friend? Welcome. Great to have you. So let's get it, guys, and let's get started. Let's go into the charts. All right. So this is for. I know he's not in here at the moment, but he asked for analysis on WMTX USDT. So basically, we were looking for that flip of the ribbon. It did play it out. Remember I mentioned I'm not going to be trading this, but I was looking for the trend line breakout. We haven't had the trend line breakout. We are overextending. This is not good so far. Therefore, I believe we could have a visit to the dynamic reactor, right? And then a comeback to the upside. So right down here, it's going to be our next entry. We did have that little itty bitty tiny wick, but also remember that we're looking for this kind of pops, right? So we're looking for it to touch base and maybe catch that pop. That pop might be getting somewhere around 0.12. So let's take a look at it here. We could be looking at a best case scenario for something like a 95.43% no leverage. That is freaking huge, right? Guys, also remember that just like you see important numbers in here, because this is a low cap, you should have in mind that to the downside, it's also as easy to lose like a 30% no leverage, right? So just keep that in mind with low caps. They're also impressive to the upside as they are impressive to the downside, all right? So just keep that in mind. Let's take a look at Bitcoin so far. Bitcoin is having an issue. It's having a little bit trouble getting around here. So just so you know, guys, I'm planning to enter a short. We talked about this, especially today in the morning. So I'm not there yet with the short. First, we need to define a parameter. We have our trend line, and I don't want that trend line to be broken. All right. I'm gonna lock this up, and finally, I'm gonna add an alert in here. Let's create it, and that's it. Perfect. So let's get it. I mean, right here, we're gonna be looking for that maybe flag out to the down, I mean to the right. Then as we have the flag, we need to keep attention on our oscillator, especially here, all right? So just so you guys know, this is where we're going to be looking for a possible retracement. And that retracement, if it happens while we do a little flag, and then we start looking, or we start seeing a flip of the ribbon somewhere around here, this is going to go much higher as we initially were describing. All right, so remember the next big bad boss, it's gonna be somewhere around the 102 100k, somewhere around this vicinity. All right, so keep an eye on that. I haven't just opened a short. We are on a resistance. That's what I'm going for, that short, but I don't have the structure to short this. So far, remember, we could be having just a little bit itty tiny retracement, and then we could have a continuation. In the meantime, I'm looking for this pattern and then looking for that flip of the ribbon. All right, so let's go take a look at a couple of other things. Let's go top down based on what we have. We have Retro Mac in the house. How's it going, brother? Welcome. So let's find out Ethereum. By the way, remember, add Piper Academy right here in the chat, and let me know if you are looking or if you are interested to look at a specific asset. All right, I want you guys to participate as much as you can. Let me know what you're looking at, and I'm gonna do my best to give you a great analysis. All right. So far so good. Ethereum, fuck Ethereum. By the way, let's get that out of the way. And well, that fucking thing. Remember, first we had a kick in the balls. All right, sometimes we deserved it, right? And then we went back into the order block. We had an order block along, if I'm not mistaken, a predictive range, and then the support of the dynamic reactor. We also have the flip of the ribbon, and we decide to jump in with that long. So far, so far, so good. Remember, I have taken profits twice in here and in there, and right now I am waiting to hit that top. We have an alert in here right there at 3,418 to take a possible short. Right, so we'll see how that goes. Hey, V Monitor. Hey, what's up, bro? How's it going? Good evening, LC. Long time without seeing you trading. Absolutely, my friend. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it, brother. I'm gonna be a regular now. I promise. I promise. Just next upcoming Monday, I'm not gonna be doing the show. That is because I most likely I'm gonna be just recuperating for the next upcoming party. All right. But other than that, count with me trading here with you guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, my friend. All right. So far, what's the next movement in here? First, exactly the same as on Bitcoin, right? We want to have this trend line. Very, 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 very important. And let me show you what I mean in a second. If we put down a flag and then we don't lose the zero line and we start moving forward, that is a break of structured trading. And we're going to be moving that trend line to the next low that we form. All right. So this is going to be a finicky trade between a reversal and a continuation pattern. Okay. Let me show you what I mean. Like, for example, let's see, where do I have that parabolic movement? Here. I believe here. All right. This will do. So we have the very first parabolic movement here, and you can see the trend line is very, very vertical, right? We have the breakout, and we're losing the zero line, right? Perfect. So we should be going for a short, and then what happens? We gain back that zero line, and we break above that dynamic reactor. Breakout retest above your dynamic reactor. Guess what's coming, right? Guess what's coming? A continuation, and then we grab the trend line in here and we stretch it to the right using this pivot as the next, of course, pivot and trend line secondary point. Then we have the breakout retest, and finally the retracement. Same thing we're gonna be going in here, or going for in there. All right. Also keep in mind that this trend line could also be going something or doing something like that. All right. So we're not out of the blue just yet. We can still retrace. We could retrace to 3,202, somewhere around there, and then have a next movement. We would still be putting a higher low. So keep that in mind. Remember, this is going to be a finicky re-entry or finicky retracement. So be ready to either hedge or change your entry, or change, sorry, your position back and forth very, very fast. All right. So let's go take a look at Litecoin. We've been tracking Litecoin. Finally, we have the breakout retest. We were looking, if I'm not mistaken, on the daily, so that's why we have a much bigger breakout retest, right? And well, guess what? Daily, we are below that zero line. On the 4 hours, it actually played out much, much faster. But in the 4 hours, we have the breakout retest and then continuation downwards. I'm looking for a rejection of the zero line and a break of structure continuation. Remember that right down here is where daily support's gonna come, right? So your entry was on this rejection here. Nonetheless, we still have some time to get it. I'm not sending you to short right there where we are at this moment. What I'm telling you is that still wait a little bit more, all right, and look for that first long, all right. and then right after a long, looking for a possible shorting here, and then a continuation downwards, if that makes sense. All right, so keep your eyes peeled. I'm gonna start adding some alerts. So the very first alert is gonna be a break a structure alert. The next one is gonna be a support alert, and I think that's gonna be it for now. I also want to go over to this trend line here, and I want to both lock it and add an alert to it, just in case we do the daily break back and hit it in, so breakout retest, right? All right, we're done with LTC. Let's take a look at BNB. BNB, what I'm looking for, it's a continuation, because remember, I early closed this trade. So let's kind of clean this up. All right, much better. And what we're looking for here, let's go for this trend line, I would say, something like that. I would like to really do another one. Let's see if I can. But this, well, why not, right? Why not? This actually looks much, much better. All right, and then we're gonna do the same thing at the bottom channel here. So first one right there, and secondary right here. I know this is a little bit of a mess. I would say that the easiest way to do this would be with a regression trend. So linear regression, oh no, linear regression, sorry, ghost trend crossing. This one in here. Let's bring it up. And look at that. We have a parabolic measurement in our Gauss trend. So that line is going to be decisive if we break out retest or if we bounce from it. So let's actually go for it. Let me draw it like this. All right. Let me right click, lock it, and add an alert. In the meantime, let's actually go for, let me see, did I actually create an alert to it? No, I did not. Let's create it. And what? Alert saved. Oh, come on. Well, whatever. I'll try it right after. What I'm going to be going for is just a traditional alert, just in case this retraces. All right. So what are we going to be looking for? First of all, we have another trend. I know this is getting really obstructive, right? And because this one gets obsolete because of the two ones at the top, I'm gonna remove it. And because this one we also have the Gauss Gauss trend crossing, I'm gonna get rid of it. And I think that's gonna be it. So I'm gonna be looking for a lower high like this, which means a movement to the upside and then a further move to the downside. But this is where things get interesting. And that is because, let me bring up predictive ranges in order blocks, so bear with me. We have a liquidity zone up in here, and we have a big support right down there. All right, so what does that mean? That means, let me just turn things off, that this high could be just a little bit higher, right? And then our support should not or could not be as big as we expect. So we could be looking for a re-entry right there for then a further continuation. So just making sure that we keep track on what's going. And that, I think that's gonna be it. One second. Alright, perfect. Sorry for that. Just working stuff. So let's take a look at a couple of other things. By the way, guys, if things are not getting the way that you're looking at, right? So for example, what I mean is that if this is looking too complicated, first, it's not that you should forget about it, right? First, set your alerts. There's nothing wrong setting your alerts and waiting to see if that makes sense farther down the line, right? For me, it's pretty clear, but I get it, right? Sometimes I am a little bit too messy with my trend lines, right? And can lead to some confusion. So just wanted to make sure that we're on the same page, okay? and set your alerts. And when those alerts start being hit, right, or when they're being hit, come back down, maybe remove the trend lines, look through your indicators, do once again your own trend lines, and things might really came to life, right? Let's take a look at Adam. I really want to skip it. This is really not playing out. So something important. We already have our breakout retest, right? This could be a fantastic short. We also have kind of like a double top. We cannot say there is a double top because the neckline for that double top, it is somewhere around. Let me draw it. Why not? Somewhere around in between. There we go. This highs and this low, right? So that's gonna be very important for our trend line here. So let's lock it for our next movement, and let's add an alert. Let me see if I can still add alerts. I don't know why it was just kind of broken. So what is it gonna be if we create a lower low, right, and then we create a lower high? The lower high, it's gonna be our next entry. We have a bearish divergence, all right, and we're crossing or almost about to cross over that zero line. That is going to be it, all right. So I think that's pretty good. What I'm going to be going for, it's that alert on this trend line. I'm going to be visiting this same pattern once we have some more results. XRP, all right, XRP, we're still within, or we could be looking into this continuation, all right. I want to kind of start changing the approach in here. So far, so good. Something important about XRP is that tends to be very aggressive when it moves, all right, and then tends to be very, very extremely boring when it doesn't. So let me just get rid of this. All right, so we already have another trend line crossing, ghost trend crossing, and we have broke it. So the next thing we're looking for, it is either, because this is a technical higher high, we're looking for something like a higher low. If we start breaking this zone, and how do I measure that? Right now I just eyeballed it, but let's bring up our indicators and bear with me, this is gonna get messy, right? So we have a lot of things happening right down here, so maybe I could go for something more horizontal, not that much of a vertical field, right? So let me start cleaning this up as much as I can. Let me just leave this on. Let's take this out. Let's take this out too. Yep. And it will be basically it. So let's zoom in, and right here we have one of my favorite indicators, the volume profile. So we could be looking at it. Oh, but this is making kind of like a pennant. So still, if you want to jump back in, this is going to be your entry on the breakout retest continuation. So let's add one of those alerts right there, and that's going to be it. All right, perfect. Important, if we start breaking to the upside, we already have a target. Look for a short closer to that target. We have, look at that, our next order block. So keep an eye on that possible short. Let's go to XLM. XLM, it is much better. I mean, this absolutely looks like a bull flag, right? We are on a support, and let's bring the rest, because look at this. This is where we have dynamic reactor and then an order block. This is just not enough. I mean, it's pretty strong, and it's a little bit far away, right? But it's just not enough. It's not close enough. So because like for pattern or structure, we are not having if we don't start breaking to the upside, if we go farther, this is not creating a bullish flag, right? Neither a bullish pennant. So it's going to be more like a breakout retest, all right? Nonetheless, then let me bring that up. I want to see the order blocks. There it is. I'm going to be aiming for a possible re-entry. Oh, come on. Let's wait for it. What do I do with the order blocks? Here it is. All right, perfect. We are rejecting of them into this area. I'm looking for that flip of the ribbon, and then a possible long right there. So I guess I'm gonna be going for this alert and then preparing for my long entry in here, I really think that I'm gonna be trying to long Stellar. I mean, I know it's a little bit within the superstitious side, right? I need to call that out, of course. But since I've been seeing legacy coins start popping, why not? Let's aim for Stellar. Again, guys, very, very, very important. This is not a call already given. This is, hey, I'm preparing for it. And once the price action gets in here, I need to look at my ribbon. If I have to flip up the ribbon, let's get it. I'm taking that that trade. All right, let's do a couple of other some other trades. Let's take a look at Link. Link is actually looking fairly good. I mean, we have that retracement continuation, and it looks like we can go for that goose head, which means little retracement, farther move to the outside, bigger retracement, right? So I'm gonna be waiting for this and for this like that. All right, so quite not there yet. I do see some support right down there, so I'm gonna be aiming for this support a little bit. My alert, it's a little bit above my support, right? Let's take a look at ADA. ADA not looking good, by the way. Still remember, move your stop to entry right now. Oh, come on, don't move this out of the way. We have an ongoing trade of ADA. Move your stop to entry. Remember, you should take in some profit. Haven't lost this itty bitty trend line, and just like every other coin, we are expecting or looking for that flip of the ribbon. If not, you should already have been taking 50% out, and you should be getting ready to do a continuation, right? So basically not doing anything, right? Although, if we start breaking below, I'm going to start aiming at 0.39. Let's take a look at Solana. Solana, it's been killing it. And remember, we called out, or we were looking for a short. That short did play out fairly all right. And then as we start having that continuation, well then, almost taking us out, which is fine. Remember, we have a long and a short zone, right? Just so you guys remember. Right? And right here, we had another one. Oh, come on. This one sort of like played out, right? It was not of a great setup. So so far so good. We should still be looking at some. Let's take a look at the other 2 coins and at some meme coins. Let's take a look at, where is it? I want to go for. Come on, where are you? Where are you? Let's get started with the dogs, shall we? So, Dogecoin, Doggycoin, let's go for it. Okay, and Dogcoin, let's get it. Little Doggycoin actually pushing, so we are bouncing, most likely bouncing, right? Of this loud order block. I'm not looking for, right now, I'm not looking for that short. And that is because this pattern here, this looks like a pennant, and we could actually go higher. That's because we're still above that zero line. So what I'm going to go for, it is a alert right here, and that's because I'm looking for this previous high. And then another alert right above. So I'm either going to be doing a breakout structure trade, or a breakout retest my entry, and then to the moon when the moon is below the earth. All right, and I want also take a look at. So guys, remember, tag me if you want to take a look at anything else. Let me know. And I also want to take a look at. Let's see, Bengu. Bengu, is it any interesting? Kind of. It actually has a little more bullish structure here. Also, it has a topping pattern, double top, almost a Bart Simpson or a Batman, right? A Batman. Oh, come on. A Batman thing. Nonetheless, I'm gonna be looking for that flip of the ribbon. Maybe we can catch it in here and going for a lower high and then continuation downward. This is also a bullish pattern, guys. All right, so we're going to be applying exactly the same thing as before. Breakout structured trading, or bouncing off the loud or the high order block to the upside, going for a lower high, and then shorting it all the way downwards. Alright guys, so for now, that is gonna be it. We already have gone through many coins. This is test. Do not go one position, full position on this trades. I really want to encourage you guys to do half of an entries or quarter of an entries, right? At this point, Bitcoin has just pumped. We need to see what Bitcoin is going to be doing, and I'm going to be letting you know tomorrow in the morning if anything has moved. Tia, please, absolutely, let's do Tia, absolutely, before we run out. T-A-I, T-I-A. All right, perfect, let's do it. Let's get it. All right, Tia. It has a higher high. Perfect. Basically, you know what? This. Oh, don't do this. All right. So we have a double long in here. So, by strategy, we should be looking for a long in here, right there. But let's do something else. Let's extend our stop loss right below here, and let's extend our gains all the way till there. It's closer to a little bit of higher 1-to-1, but that stop loss is ridiculous. All right. So what are we gonna be doing? It's going, let's do quarter of an entry. All right, let me add first my alert. Let's do quarter here. The next quarter is gonna be there, so another quarter right there. All right, so another quarter right here, and finally another quarter in here. 3/4 of an entry. Stop loss needs to be slightly below. Why are we going like this? Because I do see some big support, something important, and this needs to be accounted now and not after. All right, so fair warning. Let's wait for this to load. Is if we do this, all right, I'm gonna be hedging this area right there. Oh, come on, that's injective. What did I broke? Alright, this is not good. What's up with my internet? Holy shit! The spacebar actually got stuck in here. Okay. Let's do it once again. TIA. Alright, perfect. Let's double click it. Alright, perfect. Alright, so we have two things in here. Very important. This needs to be counted now. Alright, that means that if this does that, I'm gonna be hedging that entry. So I'm gonna be going for a short in here, all right? And that short is going to be a full position all the way down there, right? So that means as soon as I bounce back up for the continuation, I'm gonna get out in profits with that long and then compound in my short, all right? So fair warning. So this is what we're looking for, and this is because it has a higher high. Hopefully we get a higher low, and then we can continue with a quarter of a position to the upside, and then look for a further rejection up above. All right, perfect, guys. By the way, if you don't want to do the quarter, just do 1/4. Set your stop loss right below this order block, and that's it. Be done with it, right? So do you need to do the quarter entry on the long, and neither the full position on the short? So just saying that should be keeping you safer. All right, guys. So that's gonna be it for today. Shout out to All Set. What's up, bro? Welcome. Great to have you here. Really appreciate you stopping by. Really appreciate every one of you guys to stop by. Really appreciate you guys. And man, it's been such a tired day. It's been almost a non-stop. All right, other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate you guys stopping by. Really means a lot to me. And as always, see you guys tomorrow.